All of a sudden I had these pins and needles, well not pins, I don't even know, these tingles that started from my head, went all the way down. Hey guys, running slightly late at the moment, about this spiritual healing group. Well, that was one shaky video clip, and I apologise. It's almost like it was the first time I was using the camera. Or maybe I was just nervous for what was about to happen. So what is actually going on here? I headed back to Blenheim, where my family lives, for actually a party with friends. And while I was back, my dad had told me about this healing group that he goes to every Monday and Friday. Now he's been working with energy for 40 plus years as a natural healing practitioner, and has a number of qualifications and different, I guess, things related to energy work and all that sort of stuff. But we'll learn more about him in future videos, and we'll hear a little bit about him in a couple of minutes. And so I thought it would be interesting to go along to this healing group and share my experience. So, just for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome to Joseph's Journey, the channel where we dive into all things spiritual and personal development related. But for today, let's enjoy my spiritual healing experience. But before we got started, I had a few questions from my dad about what I was getting myself into. What happens at this healing group that you go to?
Okay, so...
Is it even called a healing group?
yeah, we call it a healing group because that's what it is. So we go there, most of the time we're about 6 or 7 people, maybe more sometimes, but the average is about 6 or 7. So we have the names of the people we want to do the healing for, and we pick out which one we want to start with. So we just all sit round and we attune ourselves to that person. We find out what their name is, their age, and maybe what's going on. They've given us a bit of information. So we just sit there, and different people will come up with different things that they noticed that with this person, see a lot of colours, and it can be sort of not very dark sort of colours around that person. So we're all sitting there, and then what we do then is that we bring healing to that person, and so we all sit there to do the healing, and you'll find that those dark energies, the woman who can see the energies, can see those energies changing from dark energy into lighter energies and stuff like that until it all becomes nice and clear. And then somebody might pick up something totally different. Yeah, and we just sit there until we know that the healing has been completed for that person at this specific time.
How do you know when you're finished with someone?
Oh, it just becomes very clear. Everybody feels peaceful and calm right round the whole group. We go round and to make sure that everybody's at peace with what's happened within that person. And if one person says no, they're not happy, that they've still got something that needs to be looked at, so we'll go into that area and clear that, and when everybody says yep, they feel really good about that person now, and then healing's finished for that person. Now sometimes we get so many people that want healing. What we do is that we put their names in the circle, in the middle of the circle, and then we'll just deal with 1 or 2 people that we've got time to do. And now I'm going to get a bit far-fetched here, and that is that when we're doing the healing work, we have anywhere between 7 and 9 people that we can't see. We have different people's angels that come in, and they are around in the room as well. So they're helping with the healing as well in the centre of the circle, and they're helping us get to the essence of what we need to get to with each of those people. And sometimes when we don't have enough time with the rest of them, the healings is still being completed for those people that we haven't. It's like a red flame and comes into the centre of the room and works with those names and sends out healing to each of those people. So by the time we're finished, It doesn't matter whether we had 10 or 15 people. And we've only worked with maybe 3 or 4 during that period of time. We start up past 9, go to 3 to 12 o'clock. But all those names and that we have is all been, healing has gone out to each of those people that we haven't been able to work with. That goes out because the universe comes in and it helps feed all that healing as well. So it's a very powerful healing group that comes in there with all those energies. Questions?
Yeah. So going back just to the very whack thing that you sort of said about how there's other people there that aren't physically there.
Right, yep.
Who are they, or what are they, or are they people that have passed on, or how does...
Yes, they've been passed on. And maybe, how would I describe that? Let me have a look. They are people who have been on the planet before. They've been very spiritual and they're very high up, and maybe some of them don't have to return again to the physical body. So those people have chosen to stay behind and help, like in a situation that I've just described. So they come into the room when we're doing healing, and normally it's about 7 to 9.
And can you just like feel that they're there, or
I just know they're there. I get asked how many's there. I happen to be the one that seems to know. So all I do is just attune myself to the energy that's there, and I just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever. Just like that. So that's how I know how many's there.
Yeah.
And when we finish the healing group, they just vanish.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting into areas now where it may be some of your people may find this very, very difficult. But it's something I've done for years, and yeah, and I don't have a problem with that at all. Because a lot of the times when you do healing work, it's not you that's doing the healing. You just happen to be your intentions to do that, and then the healing work's just done. Half the time I don't even know what I'm doing. But the energy's there, and it's done. It always comes back to this intention, what your intentions are.
So now that I was left with more questions than I had to start off with, at least I knew a little bit about the healing group and what to expect. So yeah, if you do have any other of those questions about the sort of the other topics that he was talking about, leave a comment in the description, or just send me a message on Instagram. And yeah, anyway, now let's get back to my experience. Yeah, hopefully I can get some recording done. I don't fully know how it's going to be, if I can get stuff set up. Yeah, or pretty much anything really. But yeah, hopefully I can take you guys with it, and we'll see how it goes. So I rocked up. It was just at one of the ladies' houses. I said hello to everyone, all of that, introduced, I guess, who I was. And then I sat down in this corner in the chair on the left. And then I didn't feel comfortable recording others and all that. So I just had to get a little bit creative.
There's a lot of young ones out there, or people, having experiences, but they don't quite understand those experiences or have the language or the knowledge, and they love it when someone can come along and help them understand what they're experiencing. And for others, it's having a knowledge and understanding about these things, and then through that they start to develop those experiences. So you can have people coming from both ends of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think there's really a place for someone to help people understand what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
And good for male energy to be doing it too.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of fear and uncertainty out there. And there's so many people looking to have an understanding and have answers to it. And I think it's such a powerful thing to be able to share with people that they are actually co-creators.
Yes.
That each one of us has the ability to create our realities, and we co-create. And that's a very empowering thing to teach people. We have that ability. Where that ability lies is with the inner self. There's only a certain level that we can create from our outer self or our lower consciousness mind, but the higher consciousness mind has a knowledge that far supersedes the lower consciousness mind. So that's why there's going to be a big washing away of old knowledge, and it's going to be usurped very dramatically by new knowledges that are coming in. Yes, we could say it's science, but it is much more than that. The old science had a very inhibiting quality to it, because old science knew this, and when it was looking at that, it wanted to fit and explain that, it wanted to fit that into that. So it was asking that something that was this big became that big. So we're going to turn it the other way around. And to do that, we need to start engaging from our light, from the highest vibrational field, from the highest manifestation of who we are. When we start functioning and operating at that level, we will reign supreme, so to speak. And these words, dear one, are being given from higher self. Thank you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it's going to make as much sense as it's going to. So. So sitting down after this experience, I felt that I hadn't fully experienced the healing sort of side of the group and that sort of aspect. Because by taking the camera along, we'd sort of taken up a lot of the time talking about, I guess, what I was doing, and I guess a bunch of questions and stuff that I had, and all that sort of stuff. And I feel like I really want to sort of experience what they would do in a normal session, sort of like real authentically. One thing I did pick up from this session was that they all sort of like the sense of community, and I guess especially in this sort of space, I think they sort of all mentioned that how when they go away on travel, like on away on a trip or anything like that, they sort of miss this sort of community aspect and
that connection with like-minded people.
Yeah.
That spiritual connection.
Yeah. I call it a community.
The community, yeah.
It's nice to have.
and all of that, and I think it sort of just highlighted to me that that's exactly like I guess what I want to create with this channel and sort of build that community of like-minded people. So if you're interested in joining that community, just hit that subscribe button or follow me on Instagram, and yeah, let's go on this journey together. So what I decided to do is, because I hadn't fully experienced what they would do in a normal session, I decided to extend my stay to Friday, and I went along to this. I decided I would go along to this without bringing my camera, leaving that in the car, and just sort of experiencing it fully, what they'd normally do in a session without taking it away or distracting or anything like that, and just fully experience it myself. And yeah, this is how it went. I'm just going to quickly talk through the experience I had in there, and what happened, and yeah, so this might be a bit raw, but whatever. But I'm just going to speak about it while I'm fresh, and yeah, and just give my experience of what the healing group was like. So I rocked up. It was similar to the last one that I documented a little bit in terms of this group of people. It was just at someone's house. I sat down, said g'days, introduced each other and all that sort of stuff. And then the way it worked is everyone sort of, if they had someone that they wanted to put their name into the group, or someone that they thought needed a bit of healing, to go there, maybe they would talk about it a little bit and sort of talk about the person, what was going on, and sometimes not even that. It would literally just be the name of the person, and from there they would tune in, and I guess we would just sit with that energy. I'm not going to talk about exactly, I guess, the people that we talked about and the who we were working on and something, with the exception, I guess, of my sister. I think she's just not been feeling 100% lately, and so yeah, and so they just put the name out there, and I guess we just started. So we sat down. I guess most people, closed their eyes. Everyone had different experiences. For me, when we were sitting with my sister first, it's hard to describe. I guess I tried to connect with her at an energy level, and I guess the way that I did that was, I guess, thinking, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when I'm talking to someone and you're close enough with them, you can you just, I guess, know how they feel in a way, not physically, but you just have that connection, and I think with my sister it was easy to get to that, because we're quite close. So started off connecting in, and then just taking some deep breaths and just feeling what was there to happen. And yeah, for me, I just all of a sudden had this burning pain. It was almost like there was like a mini fireball or something, like in my stomach or like abdomen area. No, it was hard to describe. It was like extreme discomfort. And so from there, I put one hand on that, and was just trying to, I guess, put energy towards that area and just trying to heal that and clear that. And then from there, different parts of my body started aching. Yeah, and so I guess what I did is I worked with each one of those areas. It's hard to describe what I was exactly doing, but I was just trying to clear, I guess, those pains and blockages and aching and sort of like break out of it. But yeah, that burning stomach was the thing. But the interesting thing was, it wasn't just me that had the burning stomach. Everyone in the group, there was 7 of us today, came back to some sort of relation of something going on in the abdomen area, either that stomach or liver. And yeah, so it was just interesting to see what I came up with and what I was feeling. And then knowing that pretty much, out of the 7 people, everyone was feeling the same sort of thing. They had different experiences with different other parts and went into different areas. But for me, the stomach was the main one. Yeah, it was interesting because currently she's having some issues, or she's going to the doctor about trying to figure out get her energy back and stuff. And she's had some liver results and some stomach things, but it'll be interesting to know if I talk to her. If she noticed any different sort of thing coming from this, or if not. Moving on, there was a few other people's names put in the group for various reasons. I'm not going to go into, I guess, the different things or anything like that, but I guess it was interesting just for me and with this sort of spiritual group and figuring out, because these people have been doing it for years, and just realizing everyone deals and heals in different ways, and different information, I guess, comes through at different levels, and in different ways for everyone. For example, one person, it's interesting, she finds that when she heals, she gets words that come through, and the way that she sometimes knows that it's not her saying the advice or giving the advice is that she'll often speak a word or say something, but herself have no idea what that word means or anything like that. And I guess it's not until she later looks up what that word means that she knows, oh, okay, that's what it was meant for and stuff like that. So that was interesting. And I found like a common theme, and it was what I was feeling just at probably a slightly different level, was they sort of feel the blockages or feel the areas in their body, whether that be the head, the chest, the body, and just feel, they sort of, I guess, when they connect to the person or pull it on, they feel how that other person feels in different areas, or there's different parts of their body that react in different ways, and I guess that's how they know that that's something that might be playing up in that person. But yeah, it was it's hard to describe because there's a massively powerful energy in that room when they were doing healing work on different people, and I think almost partially that was the reason why I didn't feel comfortable, I guess, bringing the camera in, because potentially if I had done that, it would have maybe shifted it into being people not being fully comfortable, or maybe even myself not being fully comfortable to relax into it and really experience it. I guess at a raw level. I don't really know if this is making any sense, but this is just raw after the group. I've literally just walked outside, sitting in the car. It's raining outside. You can probably hear the cars coming past. But yeah, this is just fully how I felt and whatnot. So then, one thing that was super interesting for me, and I guess through my life, I'd be super interested to know if any of you sort of experienced this before or have experienced this before, is that sometimes if I know something's right or I can't tell what part of me is that does think something's right or agrees with something or just knows something's truth or fact or something like that, I get these, it's almost like pins and needles, it's like a tingle that like it will start around my head and then sort of like travel slightly down my body. And it's almost like a little shiver, but it's not quite just a shiver. It's extremely hard to describe, and if you probably haven't sort of experienced that before, it's not gonna make much sense. But all I can say is it feels like pins and needles, but it's like tingles. And there was one point during this healing work, and it was extremely intense. You could just feel the energy going around, and we were, I guess, throwing things out there, trying to figure out how we could help this person. There was just one point where one lady said something that the second she said it, all of a sudden I had these pins and needles, well, not pins, I don't know, these tingles that started from my head, went all the way down my body, and I felt them before just at a lower level, but in this sort of group setting where everyone was sort of working with energy and stuff, I just felt it extremely, I don't know, it was just extremely real, and like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was almost like when she said what she said, I almost just knew, or part of me knew, or something knew, or whatever it was, just knew that was fully the truth and correct. Yeah, so that was really interesting, and also when she said that, everyone in the room also agreed and was like, oh yes, that's exactly it, and that's exactly what will happen or what needs to happen, or yeah, so that was just a bit of a surreal experience. I don't fully know how to describe it any more than that, but I asked, and because that's what happens after you've talked about and worked on this person, I guess. There's a bit of time where you can just sort of continue talking about it, or just ask some questions, and I would ask how I felt or what I was doing when I was working on the person, and I just sort of said that I sort of stayed out of a certain area, but I had felt these tingles as soon as you had said that, and she described it as, and funny enough, it wasn't just her that experiences it, but there's a few people in the group that also experienced that, and she described them as like the truth tingles. Now, and she said it sort of is higher energy, or your higher self just knows when something is correct. And yeah, I could just be completely waffling right now. But at the end of the day, this channel is all about experiencing what I've felt. And I'd be super interested if any of you have felt this tingle or something when you just know something's correct, or you know something's not right, or you just fully know something. And so yeah, that'd be super cool if that is relatable. I don't know. But anyway, so that was, I guess, my experience from the healing group. It's just, it's amazing. I think these people have been doing it for so many years that there's so many different aspects of healing and stuff that I didn't even know. I was like, yeah, mind blown. That's as simple as it gets, sort of thing. There were points that dealing with, I guess, they described it as past life stuff that had been going on people's other life, and they can sometimes portray and cross over into this when they come back, but it's very difficult to explain and stuff like that. So yeah, here I am. That was my experience, or my straight afterthoughts from just walking out there and seeing what it was like and my experience. So yeah, we'll see where this journey takes us, I guess. So yeah. I just wanted to say quickly, thank you for making it this far in the video. I really appreciate it. I know there was a bunch of things thrown around in this video that lots of things, just some of them just wouldn't make sense and all of that. But if you are interested in hearing a bit more about what happened in the spiritual healing group or anything like that, I did have to cut out a whole bunch of the stuff because this video was already getting long enough. But I have a whole heap of footage that's just there. Really appreciate you guys. Have a good day, and peace.